Hello everyone and welcome to week 2 of the 50 stitches crochet along, and this week we're doing the bobble stitch. The bobble stitch is a really lovely stitch for adding great texture to your work. I'll show you, it really pops out. So it's really popular for projects where you've got lettering or you want the outline of designs, because even if you have everything in a single colour, this still pops out really well and it's really clear. I've chosen this to do as a colourwork square, just to add an extra skill to things. So as you can see the other side, nice and smooth. So for this we're going to be using a 3.5mm hook, so the same hook as last week for the C stitch square, and we're going to be doing it in 19 rows. So in between every row of bobbles you've got a row of single crochet. So we're going to have 9 rows of bobbles in this alternate pattern and 10 rows of single crochet. So you start with a row of single crochet and end with a row of single crochet, and then we add the same single crochet border round as last week. But I will go over that in a separate video so you can see how that's done, and then of course we'll add the interlocking border later. So as last week, we start with 31 chain, and then we're going to single crochet in the third stitch from your hook, and for the same as last week, your turning chain is going to count as a stitch. So count that turning chain, and then you'll have 29 single crochet, so that's 30 stitches total including that chain. So I've gone ahead and done the first row of single crochet, so you don't have to watch me doing that. And oops, hang on, that got me untangled. There we go. And now we're going to start our first row of bobbles. So I'm going to do an alternate turning chain for a double crochet, and I do this to avoid any bumps on the outside or any gaps on the inside. So it's just a much neater way of turning and gives you nice straight edges. And then, so you chain one, and then, oops, let me just zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. And then in the top of the last single crochet from your last row, we're just going to do a single crochet. And then to get the height of a double crochet, we're going to do another single crochet on top. So you see the V that is created by the single crochet, we're going to go into the left side of it. So we're just going to pop under there, just like that. So it brings a second loop on your hook, and then we're just going to single crochet on top. So that's 2 single crochets on top of each other, and as you can see the top of it just looks like a normal top of a normal stitch. I'll pop a stitch marker in there, we'll need that later. And there you go, it's going to be a nice straight edge, it's chunky like a stitch, and there's no lumps or bumps. So that is why I do the alternate turning chain. It just makes things nice and neat. So we're going to do another 2 double crochet, but in the second double crochet we need to change colour. So first double crochet is normal, the second we start and you pull through the first 2 loops but leave the last 2 loops on your hook, and this is where we bring in our second colour. We just put that behind and just pull it through those last 2 loops, and that is our colour change for our bobble. So keep the 2 yarns nice and tight. You need to try and keep your tension quite consistent with this, and try and keep everything nice and tight, because we're going to be carrying the second yarn across. By keeping everything nice and tight, it won't show through. So for the bobble you need to double crochet 5 together. To do that, we yarn over into the next stitch, just there. We're going to start a double crochet, but we're only going to pull through the first 2 loops. Leave 2 loops on your hook. Now we start a second in the same stitch, pull through 2 loops and leave 3 loops on your hook. We're going to do this 5 times. So you'll have 5 part 4 double crochet and 6 loops on your hook. So there we go. That's number 3. Four. Oops, missed a strand. And last one, number 5. 1, 2. So we have now 6 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 5 half formed double crochet. And then we're going to yarn over again and pull through all 5 loops. So just give everything a nice tug so it's nice and tight. I'm going to bring the blue down, green up, and chain 1. So we'll have a nice easy change over there. So now we do 5 double crochet. So this is going to be your pattern between all your bobbles. So you'll have a bobble and then 5 double crochet. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But in the 5th we're going to change colour again. So leave 2 loops on your hook for your last double crochet, green down, blue up, and then pull through to make that 5th. So when you change colours, you just give everything a little pull to keep it tight, as you want your carried colour to be sitting here at the bottom of your row. This is where your stitches are thickest, so it's where it'll be more hidden. If I turn over, it's not that visible at all. As you can see, the bobbles are popping on the wrong side. So what we're working on now is the wrong side, and your bobbles pop away from you. So now we go to the next bobble. And it's exactly the same again. So in the next stitch, 5 double crochet together. So 5 half double crochets left incomplete, and you'll have 6 loops on your hook. 2, cotton splitting, excuse me. Right, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops on your hook, then yarn over and pull through. You want to try and keep those loops on your hook a little bit loose just to make that pull through a bit easier, but otherwise keep everything nice and tight. So the blue down, the green up, and do the colour change. Give everything a little tug, and then carry on, and we'll do the 5 double crochet between the bobbles. 1, 2, 3, 4, and the last one, again, we're going to change colours. So leave the last 2 loops on your hook, bringing the green down, the blue up, and pull through both loops. So 3rd bobble, pull, 5 double crochet together, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then pull through all 5, blue down, green up, and then make that chain 1. Now that does add an extra stitch, but don't worry, we're going to sort that out in the next row, and you will end up with a nice 30 stitch count in total. So next 5 double crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th one, and again we're going to be doing the colour change, so leave the last 2 loops on your hook, green yarn down, blue up, pull through, so bobble number 4, and again just 5 double crochet together, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and pull through all 6 loops on your hook. So blue yarn down, green up, and pull through. Okay, last set of 5 before the end of this row. 1, 2, oops, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and again in our 5th, I'm going to change colour for the last bobble. So green down, blue up, pull through, and last 5 double crochet together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull through, yarn down, green up, crochet, give it a little tug. Now we're going to finish with a different number of stitches what you started. We're only going to have 2 on this end. So including your turning chain, you have 3. On this end you will have 2. And that's just because we've got to get our stitch count right to match our other squares. So yes, it is supposed to look a bit lopsided. But it's all part of the charm. To get all our squares the same size in this project, we are having to make a few little allowances here and there for symmetry. And then your last double crochet is in the top of this turning chain. Pop that out. You can now drop the yarn from the other bobble. You can carry this up the side in alternate row so you don't have to cut, but I prefer to cut mine, if I'm honest. I put up with all the end weaving, but if you prefer you can carry it. There we go. So that's our first row of bobbles. See, they're popping out. Now this chain 1 in the top of the bobble does add an extra stitch, but what we're going to do in the next row is a row single crochet, but we're going to skip that stitch there. So that bobble colour stitch on the right is getting skipped, and we just crochet into the left hand stitch. So skip that one, single crochet in there. So let me just grab my scissors so I can cut it. So that's out of the way. So I'm going to cut the bobble colour. Get rid of that. And now we're going to turn. And as I've been doing with the others, I'm going to do the alternate single crochet turning chain. So that is just chain 1 and single crochet in the top of the last double crochet from the previous row, and that's the turning chain. So pop that in there. So at this point, make sure you got the right number of stitches. So you should have 5 bobbles and 25 double crochet. So 3 at your starting end, 5 in between each of the bobbles, and 2 at the other end. So let's start with the row of single crochet. Excuse me a second, my yarn has decided to tangle. There we go. Right, and it's just a really simple single crochet row. So our turning chain counts as 1, and there's 2. We now skip this one and go into here, and this will also help pinch our bubbles and make them really pop out. So you get a really nice texture on them, a really nice height off them doing this. And it's another good reason to keep your carriage on nice and taut, is that it really helps those bubbles pop if you do. But as you can see, the carriage yarn isn't showing through very much. It will a little bit, it always will a bit, but if your tension's nice and tight, you'll barely notice it. And so we just single crochet in every top of every single double crochet, skip that first bobble colour stitch, which is your chain 1 that we did when we were switching colours at the end of the bobble, and carry on with the rest. We'll just do that all the way down this row. So skip that one, go into there. And the reason you have to have this row of single crochet is because otherwise you'll have a row of bobbles turning in the wrong way. They always pop out away from you, so you've got to have a turning row so that all your bobbles will pop out in the same direction. So last bobble, skip that one into there. That one's a bit loose, but that's our tail end, so I'll just give that a tug and that'll tighten up as well. And all the way down. So we should have 30 single crochet when we're done. Take that out. Am I going the right stitch? Yes, I am. There we go. So you see how that pinch has helped those bubbles pop out even more. That's a really nice height on them now. Now I'm going to turn and start the second row of bubbles. So again, I'm going to do the alternate double crochet turning chain. So it's chain 1 and then a single crochet, then into the side of the V, the left hand side, and do another single crochet in there. And that's our turning chain done. Okay, so for this row we need to offset our bubbles. So I'm now going to do another 5 double crochet. So your turning chain counts as 1, and then another 5, so you'll have 6 in total, including that turning chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So in this row, oops, sorry, I'm not meant to finish the 5. So we're going to change colour in the top of this 5th one. And I think I'm confusing you there. So alternate double turning chain, then 5 more double crochet, so it'll be 6 stitches in total there. And then top of this 6th one, we're going to change colour for our bobbles. So your bobble will sit in between the others from the row below. And as before, we're going to continue the pattern. Bobble, 5 double crochet, bobble, 5 double crochet. You'll have 4 bobbles in this row, and at the end we're going to have, at this end there'll be 5 double crochet. I'm going to go part way across this row. I'm not going to show the whole thing, so I'll be sat here for a long time, and unfortunately my camera does not like long videos. It likes to cut out. So if I tell you all that now, you know. But the pattern continues the same. And for the rest of the square, you're going to continue with this pattern. So after this second row bobbles, single crochet, then you repeat the first row bobbles, row single crochet, repeat the second row bobbles, single crochet, and that is how this goes for the whole square. So I'll just carry on for a little bit. So yarn over and into the next stitch. Oops, where's my colour gone? Right. My green has decided to go off. So remember to always carry that at the front. So first bobble of this row. And then my tails, I decided to come into it. Go away. Alright, we'll sort you out in a second. So, make sure everything's nice and tight. Little tug. So, first, and I've done a single crochet. You have the feeling it's going to be one of those days. Right, we're joined. We got our bobble. So, I've completely lost that, haven't I? Right, let's pull out. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a 6. It happens to the best of us. It really does. Right. So we join at the top of the 6th stitch with the new colour. Carry your background yarn in front and crochet 5 together. So it's number 1. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then yarn over and pull through all 6 loops on your hook. And we just need to tighten everything up, nice and taut. Then bobble colour down, yarn colour up, and pull through and change. And then we go into the 5 double crochet. So you see it's exactly the same as the row below. We're just offsetting the bobbles. So I'm just going to stop there. As you can see, that's now sitting nicely in between. So just to recap, we start with a row of single crochet. I'll just zoom out for a second. So we start with a row of single crochet, 30 stitches total. We go into the bobbles. You'll start with 3 stitches, your turning chain counts, a bobble, 5 double crochet, bobble, 5 double crochet all the way down until you have 5 bobbles, and then you end with 2 double crochet. You turn and do a line of single crochet. Remember to skip that chain stitch at the top of the bobble, so you're only doing a single crochet into one of the bobble stitches. Then you get to the end, you'll have 30 single crochet. You turn, your turning chain counts, 6 double crochet, including that turning chain, bobble, 5 double crochet, bobble, all the way down. You'll have 4 bobbles in the second row, and you'll end with 5 double crochet, and then you just repeat. So after that it'll be a row single crochet, repeat bobble line 1, another single crochet, repeat bobble line 2, all the way up until you have 19 rows. That's 9 rows of bobbles, 10 rows of single crochet, and you'll end on a row of single crochet. So to do the border, I'm going to pop that into a separate video so I'm not rattling on forever, and I'll put a link to that in the description for you. And that's all you do, and you'll end up with this gorgeous square. So bear with it, keep your tension nice and tight. Remember to give a tug every time you finish a bobble, and your square should turn out roughly the same as the one from last week. Don't worry if it's slightly different, that is why we're doing the interlocking border, so there's a bit of leeway. But here's one I did earlier, true Blue Peter fashion. If I fold them over, there's not a huge amount of difference in them. There's a little bit, but the border can take it. If I just lie them over each other like that, you can see at top and bottom there's a slight difference, but it's not huge. It's very slight, and this border will absorb it. So don't worry if there is a slight difference. It's not a problem. But there you go. But the difference tension makes, this is what it makes. One square was made while I was sitting nice and comfy. One square was made here on camera, and I'm not in a comfy position. I end up crocheting tighter. So if you think tension doesn't matter, it really does. It makes quite a big difference. There's actually about 2 centimeters between those 2 squares. Okay, so that's why tension is important. This is what happens otherwise. So happy hooking, and as always, come over to the Facebook group. I'm always happy to answer questions, and I would love to see your finished squares. So thank you for joining me, and bye for now.